listeners to be able to join us live. And so welcome from all the different platforms that we are on today, from Instagram to YouTube, and of course here in our Zoom room. So give us a second as we get that today from Instagram. Beautiful. And so now we are good to go there. And give me a second. Give me a second. Then we'll get started. I'll bring up the First Lady herself in just a second. Participants. You know, this is our second week in our new studio. So we are still working out some kinks, but all is well. Hope you had a blessed week. And let's go here. All right. This should get us going. 1 second. All right. Good. So, baby, we good over there?
Yes.
All right. 1 second. All right. Can you all see these slides?
We do have a light that kind of film.
They have what?
Kind of like a light film.
Huh. All right. Continue to share. All right. There, we're good now. All right. Perfect. Participants. All right. Thank you so much for your patience. All right. We'll go here. One more thing. Now we are good to go. All right. Beautiful. With that, let me bring First Lady, Miss Whitney Young, to welcome you to the Christ-like Church.
Okay, hello, everyone. We are so excited that you are here for the Christ-like Church here this Sunday. We have been studying how to make disciples. Now, if you have been here last week and really the week before, Julian has really turned this up. So what's so beautiful is that we hear the word disciple all the time, but we are diving deep into it, what it means to be a disciple, what even is a disciple, right? So we are in this series right now. So we're so grateful that you're here. I want anybody who is new here to go ahead and type new in the chat, okay? I want you to go ahead and type new in the chat. We want to welcome you to the Christ-like Church. We definitely are excited that you are here with us today. Go ahead and type new in the chat. Hey, Michelle, welcome. We are so happy that you're here. Thank you for being here. And definitely, you guys, this is such an amazing class to go ahead and share the Christ-like Church with a friend, right? Bring your friends to the Christ-like Church. It's definitely a great time here on Sundays. Stacy, welcome. We are so grateful that you are here. And so we are so excited. And then also keep note that if you are new here, on the first Sunday of every single month, we want to get to know you, right? So definitely come to our class. And as you join us and continue to come, you will hear about that. And and without our community, okay? And then sharing our spiritual gifts and our financial gifts. This is what we do here at the Christ-like Church. Our vision is to be Christ-like, right? Our vision is to be Christ-like. So that doesn't necessarily mean Christian. Back before it used to be one of the same, but now we recognize that there is division in that. So we want to calibrate back to being Christ-like, right? So that is our vision. Our mission is building the kingdom inside and out, in that order. Building the kingdom inside and out, in that order. Our motto is keeping love at the center. Okay, keeping love at the center. We know that sharing love and being love and becoming love is how we can heal this nation, right? And our ethos are, I am a spiritual being having 8 billion human experiences, right? So this is what the Christ-like church is. So we want to welcome you. I want to go over the ways that you can tap in with us every single week, right? So here, like I said, we're Bible teachers, right? So we love Bible study. We have a few different studies that you could be a part of. Today, you are part of the conversations, okay, every Sunday here at 11 a.m. Right now we are in our disciple series, right? So we what I love about us is we study the word, okay? We go deep into it. So right now, like I said, we're studying what it disciples, so you can like, how do we bring that to our earthly life, right? And then as well, it's not moving, babe. As well, we have Bible study on Fridays as well at 9 a.m. We just read the whole entire New Testament. So we have one more week of that, right? So you can still join us at new60.com, okay? And then the last thing, we have a very special Sunday here at the Christ-like Church. It's called Ask and Receive. So when we finish a series or when we feel like it's time, we do a Sunday called Ask and Receive. You can come to our church and ask any questions. You might have questions about Jesus, Yeshua. You might have question of why church is the way it is. You might have just questions that you need answered about that you might have not been able to ask at your church, right? So we definitely open up the floor to ask questions, as well as the second half of that call. Listen, a lot of times we're in proximity of something that we need and someone has the answer, right? So we do ask and receive, where you can ask the community. You might need a therapist, you might need a recommendation, you might need help with finances, right? So we definitely love to honor our community and have this ask and receive Sunday every so often, okay? Now I'm going to bring up Julian to talk about some things that we have coming up as well.
Thank you, babe. So we see in chat that the audio is breaking up. How clear are we right now on a scale of 1 to 10? How clear are we right now? Please let us know. On a scale of 1 to 10, how clear are we right now? All right, all clear now? Okay, thank you so much. We're grateful for technology and what it allows for. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Most of the times it works, and we're grateful for that. So thank you for letting us know. Yeah, thank you for letting us know. And we will keep going and pushing forward. We do have backup camera. We will stop and reset if it just becomes a persistent issue, but we do have a backup camera that is streaming live, and any type of replay will be put up on YouTube. Okay, so with that. So some upcoming events. We have Meet Your Ministers. This is your opportunity to get a chance to meet me and Whitney. If you are new to the community and have not connected with us, then this is your opportunity to join us and get to know who we are, a little bit more about our stories, why we created the church, and what this church really stands for. We know that the church is not a place; it is a group of people. It is a body of believers, and actually knowers, and doers. And so this is an opportunity, and that's every first Sunday right after service from 1:15 to 1:45. All right. Then we have something amazing as we go through this word study on disciple. We have a new disciple class on Sunday, December 28th. Yes, that is next Sunday. I have been preparing for that class, and oh my goodness, it is about to be lit. You can't see the slides? Can you all see the slides? No? All right, 1 second. All right. 1 second. Thank you for letting us know. This is why we got people in chat. Beautiful. We'll get that back up for you in just a second. All right. Beautiful. All right. We should be good to go. Can you see it now? Good to go? All right. Thank you for letting us know. All right. Beautiful. So next Sunday, from 1:15 to 3 o'clock, we have a new disciples class. And as you know, as we're in the middle of this word study, Christ said, make disciples. Christ did not say make members. Christ did not say count how many baptisms your church has done this year. It says make disciples. And there's a huge distinction between a member and a disciple. And so when you make a disciple, you become a disciple of Christ, not of Christ-like church. You commit your life to serving and living in the way that Christ lived. And so if you are interested in that higher level of living, then this is your opportunity to come learn more about what that actually means. And so maybe if you could put this in chat, we have, you can sign up for that at thechristlikechurch.com/disciple. That is thechristlikechurch.com/disciple. I encourage you to sign up right now if that is your commitment. It is going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to spend an additional hour and 45 minutes together after the service to really get clear on what it means to be a disciple. We have to count the cost in advance, and the cost of being a disciple are great, but the benefits are even greater. And we want you to be fully aware of what you are stepping into and getting into before you commit to that. Some people may say, I just want to be a Christian. Some people may say, I just want to be a member. But we are looking for a group of people who are committed to being disciples. All right. So if you are committed to being a disciple, type disciple in chat. Type disciple in chat. Let me know who's committed to true discipleship. Who's committed to true discipleship? I think we've created a small, tight-knit community of people who are committed to actually living out Christ's teachings. And so, as you can see, yes, this is family. So it looks like we're going to have an extra long service on next Sunday, okay? And so excited to have you there for that. And we're going to go deeper in on what that actually means and what that commitment looks like, all right? Now, for becoming a disciple, our discipleship process. Now, this is our discipleship process. We are doing our best to understand what Christ means by make a disciple. And so right now, our process includes 12 Sunday studies. And the beautiful thing is that some of you have already done many of these things. Okay, so it means 12 Sunday studies. 3 must be this particular disciple word study. Time tithe to the church or your community service for 10 hours. Complete the red text blueprint or the new 260. So the red text blueprint is reading all of Yeshua's words. This is the red text blueprint. It is absolutely free. We'll share that URL in just a second. This is just the words of Yeshua so that we understand who it is that we follow. Yeshua's words transcend and are higher and greater than any other writer in the text. And so we follow Yeshua's word. Some of you have already read the New Testament by being part of the new 260 experience. And if you read the New Testament on your own in advance of that, that's perfectly fine. And then we have a new tool that we're creating called the Disciple Maker Method. And it is going to be an extended workbook that really prepares you for the process of discipleship. And so those will be the 4 requirements. And then from there, you can choose one elective That elective is Sisters in the Scriptures 4 times, Pick Up Your Cross, or Paid for Purpose. If you did Paid for Purpose with me about a month ago, that counts there. The Acts Discipleship Training, which Whitney and I do together periodically, and that's just 1 hour a week for 4 weeks. We're reading the book of Acts and going through that. Read Rich and Righteous. Some of you have already done that already, whether you did it on your own or when we did it together as a group. The Proverbs 31 Day Women's Challenge, that's coming up soon, and the Sons of Solomon for Men's Challenge is coming up soon. So those are your electives. And again, if you want to commit to that discipleship process, that URL is there for you to sign up. Okay. Now we have some new releases. Many of you have been hearing the amazing music that has opened the church, that we share in the middle of church and at the end. And all of that is on my new album called The Christ-like. I was able to I wrote every single lyric on this album, but I was able to use AI to produce the music and for the vocals. And this is on repeat in our household. Our kids are sick of it now, right? But it is so beautiful to be able to take all of these teachings in this ministry and put it into an album that I literally think Christ would be bobbing his head in the Middle East, right? In Palestine, bobbing his head to this music because it is in perfect alignment with his message. And so thank you to all of you who have went to christlikemusic.com and actually purchased the album. The album is a minimum donation of $12, but if you choose to donate more, all of that contribution goes to the church, right? So it is an opportunity for you to get a gift for sharing your treasure with us, okay? So that is that. I'm not going to play the song for you right now. You want a little taste? You want a little taste? This I'll give you a little taste.
Yeah.
A little taste. This is the single. This is called
Psalm
Christ Like.
23.
This is how you start your day. This is how
Yeah.
you get turned up.
Yeah. Christ like. Turning tables, Christ like. Heal disabled, Christ like. Wine from water, Christ like. Walk on
All
water.
right, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. Too much. Y'all might get too turned up. Y'all might get too turned up. All right, cool. It's too early for that. It's too early for that. All right, so go get that at christlikemusic.com. Amir said, I am the church goes crazy. Beautiful. All right, good, good, good. All right, so in our community, we need leaders. We're not here to create followers. We're here to create leaders. And at some point on your journey, you follow to lead. And we put out a call for volunteers, and we'll continue to create calls for volunteers to step up. And we've been looking for 2 people to read the Christ-like prayer. We do not want this service to just be Whitney and I standing here in front of the camera or in front of an audience. And so I want to give thanks to Lester Hogan for his commitment to reading the Christ-like prayer. We are looking for a woman's voice to balance him out, and as they go off and trade off weeks. And so that if you're interested in that and you are a lady, please email Whitney at contact@thechristlikechurch.com. That's contact@thechristlikechurch.com. So with that, I'm going to bring up our brother Lester to read the Christ-like prayer for us, and then we will move forward into today's teaching. Now let me bring up Lester. All right, Lester, you have been given permission to talk. Thank you so much, brother.
You're welcome, Rising Fam. We are truth seekers, seeking to become more Christ-like and have the mind of Christ. As Christ said, if you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. We believe that when we ask, it shall be given to us. When we seek, we shall find. And when we knock, the door shall be opened unto us. We know that as we sit in the temple of our minds, listening for your voice, and asking questions in that holy place, we shall find understanding and answers. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. We know that because the Bible is heavily coded in allegories, similes, and parables, many who think they are seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand, including those who call themselves your disciples. We know that not to rely on the letter, but of the spirit of the word. For the letter kills it, but the spirit gives life. We are meant to study to show thyself approved unto God, rightly dividing the word of truth. Wash our feet, which represents our understanding, so we may build our church, our temple, which is our individual belief system, upon a rock of truth that we are the sons and daughters of God. May we feel free to renew our minds by destroying and rebuilding our temple over and over and get better and better, leaving no stone standing. We know that when we pray, we shall enter into the closet of our mind, shut the door, and pray to God which is in secret. And we also know that where two or three are gathered together in your name, I am is in the midst. And that our purpose is to bring the kingdom of heaven on earth. We pray this Bible study blesses, builds, and bring all children of God closer to you, whether inside or outside of a religious context, even if that means wrestling with our concept of God for our blessing like Jacob. We practice these principles because we know we are called to bear good fruit and do even greater things as part of your spiritual lineage. We love you and thank you with all of our hearts, minds, and souls. Let those who have ears hear. Ashe, Amen. So this.
Woo! Thank you, brother. We are so grateful for you stepping up to share your voice and to open up the service with this powerful prayer. So thank you. We appreciate
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome, friends.
All right. So today we are going to continue our journey and our study of the word disciple. And this is what we call our Christ-like conversation. And I'm so excited because as I continue to go through these scriptures, I get deeper and deeper revelation and insight around what it actually means to be a disciple and the actual process of what it's going to take for us to become disciples. As you know, this is all part of a larger series that we're going to probably be in for maybe 3 to 5 years, honestly. And that is the consciousness, character, and commandments of Christ. The consciousness, character, and commandments of Christ. And this is what we are focused on here in our ministry. And we want to understand this as the foundation of Christ-like church. So the consciousness is his knowing and his mind. As Paul says, we are to have the mind of Christ. His character is his being, and that represents his heart. What was Christ's heart posture? When he would see people in need, he would immediately move to compassion. He was also in a state of gratitude often, right? And so we want to have the heart posture of Christ. And then from there, there's doing, right? The commandments. That's the actions that we take. That is how we speak. That is what we do with our hands and where our feet lead us, right? And so this is the journey that we are on. And we felt that understanding what it truly means to be a disciple was key to this actual work. And so this is what we are focused on and why we are starting off the ministry with this word disciple. Not only how to make disciples, but how to be a disciple. Because we've come to the full awareness that you cannot make disciples if you are not a disciple. You must be a disciple first before you make disciples. Members of a church cannot make disciples. Members of a church don't make disciples. Disciples make disciples. And so we have to get this right. We have to get this right. And so we know that there are many words that people use to describe themselves when it comes to Christ. I'm an apostle, I'm a believer, I'm a follower, I'm a saint, I'm a Christian, I'm a disciple. We are seeking to be disciples. And so we've been on this journey to understand what it means to make a disciple. And the reason this is so important because in Matthew 28:19, it says, therefore go and make disciples. This is the Great Commission. This is the first thing Christ commands us to do is go make disciples. And what has the Christian church done by and large? It's went and made members. So we don't do membership here at the Christ-like church. You become a disciple, but you are not a disciple of the Christ-like church. You are a disciple of Christ. And we as disciples come together in this space called Christ-like church. And so this is why this command is so important, right? And so we're going to continue in our word study today. We heard some very powerful teachings. In fact, I want to bring up this video that I found this week, and it's from Francis Chan. He had a mega church in California, and at some point on his journey, he decided to leave the mega church because he realized that he was making members and not disciples, that he didn't truly know the people who were out there in the pews. And so I want to share this video really quickly with you.
I can get the right team together and create a viral video. That's not that hard. You can open a channel and get followers. There's just all sorts of ways. You can just do what everyone else does. Do some clickbait stuff like, why Francis is a heretic. Oh, okay, I want to see that. Great, you're famous. Good job. You know, it's just, but to make a disciple where someone sees your life and knows your life and says, wow, I'm going to follow his example. I've seen the way he is with his wife, his kids. I've seen him in the home. I've seen him with unbelievers. I've seen him in all these different settings. I've seen him at work, and that's what I want to be. Like that is what Jesus is after. That's a type of ministry that he wants for us.
Okay. So what is the key nugget that you got from that video? What is the key nugget that you got from that video? There was something very profound that he said as we understand what discipleship is. What is the key nugget that you got from that video? Yes, people will want to follow disciples, right? They follow their what, though? Their example. So in order to do that, what must they do? They must what? See your life and know your life. If I'm just standing in a pulpit and you are all out there and church ends and you go that way and I go this way, do you really ever see my life? No. We have to find ways to invite people into our lives. This is part of what it means to make disciples. And right now, the infrastructure of the church does not do that. Okay. And so we have this pyramid, right? 5.4 billion people worldwide who do not believe in Christianity, 2.6 billion Christians, only 1.27 billion actually say that they're a member of a church. But then the question is, how many are actually disciples? All right. How many are actually disciples? And so we started the word study last week. And so I want you to type in the chat from the first part of our word study. What did you get about a disciple? What is a disciple based on what we covered last week? What is a disciple? What is a disciple? A student, yes. A leader, right? A student leader. Those two things usually aren't put together, but yes, they're a student and a leader, right? What else? An example, someone who learns and teaches by life. Yes. What else did you get from that study? These are the three questions that we are seeking to answer with this study. What is a disciple? Someone who is learning with the intent of actually applying what they're learning, right? We heard that from the pastor. Follower, leader, teacher. Good. And we're following to what? What do we learn? A true disciple, are they just following forever? No, they're following to lead. Follow to lead. Not just following the leader, they're following to lead. Okay? That makes sense? Okay. So, what do we learn about how to become a great disciple? What do we learn about how to become a great disciple? What are some of the requirements that are needed to be a great disciple? Yes, curiosity. Learning requires asking questions. Yep. You got it. Janelle, asking questions. Compassion. Obedience. Good. What else? What else is required? See, this is a Bible study. This is not just me talking to you. This true education, the word educate means to draw out. We're drawing out that which you already know. This is a collective conversation. Okay? Empower others. Faith. They must submit. Belief. Good. All right? Then, did we learn anything about how to make a disciple? Beyond being a great example, did we learn anything about making great disciples? How do we make disciples? Did the scripture teach us anything? Yes, the same love, empathy, and obedience that we are meant to exhibit. When we do that, it naturally rubs off on those around us. Right? Lifting up and loving others. Right? Mentoring, empowering others to do great things. Yes. Anything else? How do we make great disciples? Calm them. Yes, Yeshua calmed the storm. The storm being representative of external circumstances that had them lose their faith. Create sacred space, as Janine says. Putting them intentionally in uncomfortable positions. Servant leadership. Beautiful. Good. So we're going to continue to fill in these 3 boxes as we go into today's study. So now we are on Matthew 15:36. And he took the 7 loaves of fish and gave thanks and brake them and gave to his disciples and the disciples to the multitude. What are we learning here, family, about making disciples? What does this scripture teach us about making disciples? Yeshua could have taken credit for the feeding of the 5,000 by himself. But what does he do? He includes them in the miracle. He empowers them to be part of the miracle. So they now see greater possibility for themselves than they originally saw. Yeshua could have fed the 5,000 by himself and said, look at me, look what I did. But instead, he distributes that power. He distributes the power and authority to his disciples. Is this making sense? You see that? So we share the credit. We empower our disciples, okay? Or those who are learning from us. You got it? Right? Matthew 16:13, when Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am? What does that tell us about Yeshua's relationship to his disciples? What is being indicated here? I'm asking you to look beyond the moment. What is being indicated here? Yeshua, in addition to disciples asking questions, he also asked them questions. Tough questions. We ask tough questions. We value their perspective. We see, we observe where they are in their understanding. Okay? Do you see how this word study works? So even though we are only getting this glimpse in a scripture, we can look at how that actually shapes and helps us answer the questions. What is a disciple? How do I become a great disciple? And how do I make disciples? Do you see that in Matthew 16:13? Yes. Give me a yes if you see that. We ask tough questions. We value their perspective, meaning that we listen. We must be listeners. We listen. And we observe where they are, because their answers indicate what? Where they are on their journey, their degree of understanding. Okay? Matthew 16:20-21. Then he charged his disciples that they should tell no man that he was Jesus the Christ. From that time forth, Jesus began to show unto his disciples how he must go. Let's start with the first part. He said they should tell no man. What does this indicate about discipleship, family? I'm making you think. What does this indicate about discipleship? What does this indicate? Amir said inward knowing. Yes. That there is some exclusive information or secrets, not for the public. Okay? Now, Yeshua commands them to go teach. So there's some things I want you to go teach, but there's some things that only you at your level of understanding will understand. So this is not for everybody. This is not for everybody. You see the distinction there? Now, when we continue, from that time forth began Jesus to show unto his disciples how that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things. What is this telling us about discipleship? What is this telling us about discipleship, family? This is telling us that a true leader makes those that are following them aware of the hard times ahead. He's not, but only after a degree. He didn't do it immediately, right? It says he began to show them, right? He did not do it immediately. But when they were ready and had enough strength and faith, then he goes on to say, the road ahead is going to be hard. He doesn't give them illusion that being a disciple is going to be easy, because then they will be disillusioned when they come across hard times. He is transparent about the journey that is ahead. And throughout the scriptures, we have some examples of some of his disciples leaving him. When the teaching was too hard for them to receive, they left. And that is also part of making disciples. You will lose people on the journey. Okay? So there's a degree of honesty that is there. There's a degree of honesty that is required, but having the discernment of when to share that honesty. Okay? The discernment to know when to share the honest truth. Y'all with me on that? Matthew 16:24. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself. So in order to be a disciple, I must deny myself. Give me another language pattern for denial of self. What does that mean or look like? What does that mean? Give me another language pattern. If you were to rewrite that. I love that, Shirley. Ego death, fasting. Ego death, fasting. Good. Taking up your cross. Yes. Y'all getting it. Discipline, right? You think it's a coincidence that disciple and discipline have the same root? Okay. Here's how I language it. Submission to the mission. It is the submission of my mission. It is the submission of my vision board to the vision that God has for all of humanity. It is the wringing out of selfish desires. This is what it means to deny themselves. And then to take up your cross, meaning to walk in your purpose, to do your part. To do your part, right? And follow me. Follow me means follow my example. Okay? Now, I know some of you might be ready to walk away right now. Julian, I got to give up my vision board. I can't want anything for myself. It's not that you can't want anything for yourself. It is that you must submit to the will of God first in order for your will to get met. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and then all these things will be added unto you. But what do we do as man? We seek first all the things that we need, and then if we have time left over, then we seek God's will. We do it backwards. Okay? So submission to the mission. In Matthew 17, 1-6, Yeshua gives a hard teaching, or no, this is the transfiguration. And in verse 5, it says, while he yet spoke, behold, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and behold, a voice out of the cloud which said, this is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Hear ye him. And when the disciples heard it, they fell on their face and were sore afraid. What does this communicate? Why did Yeshua take these two or three disciples, these three disciples, no, two disciples, Peter and James, John was his brother. Why did he take them to the mountaintop? Why did he take them to the mountaintop, y'all? To witness the transfiguration. And why didn't all of them go? So there's a couple lessons in here. What are the lessons, family? What is this teaching us? As a great discipler, we have to demonstrate. We must demonstrate. We can't just talk about loving others. We can't just talk about being kind. We have to actually demonstrate. And then we have to pull them into intimate spaces and environments that they might not otherwise have access to, but not all are ready for. So we have to know who to pull and when. Who can actually withstand, who's ready for this unique experience over here and who's not. We have to have that discernment. Okay? So there's a discernment around the readiness. It's not all the disciples come. It's like, come to this meeting with me. Right? Come see this with me. No, not you. Not right now. I just need these two. So we have to know who is going to benefit from what environment, which means that inwardly we have a curriculum. We have a curriculum for each person we lead. Now, there may be a general curriculum, but then there's an individual curriculum. Oh, you need to learn about forgiveness. Come to this experience with me. You three, you need to learn about gratitude. Come watch this. All right? Matthew 17:10 through 13. And his disciples asked him, saying, when they say the scribes that Elias must come first, and Jesus answered them and said, Elias truly shall come first and restore all things. So what has Jesus created here? What has Jesus created here? One, a true discipler corrects old, false, distorted thinking. This was what you were taught, but this is how it actually is with truth. The other thing is that a true discipler, somebody who makes disciples, creates safe space for them to ask questions. How many times have you been able to ask a question in church? Doesn't happen, right? So discipleship isn't happening in mega churches on Sundays. Hopefully it's happening in smaller spaces elsewhere, but on Sunday, discipleship is not happening. Okay? This making sense? Matthew 17:16. And I brought him to he sent them out to go do things. The sound is out. All right. Thank you for letting us know. We are doing our best. Our internet looks strong. We don't know if it's Zoom. We don't know what's happening. So thank you for letting us know. Hey, y'all like, I don't want to miss a word. I don't want to miss a word, right? So what is Matthew 17:16 teaching us? Yeshua did what? He put them in a situation where they would be pushed to their what? What? put them in situations where they would be tested. Okay? So you realize you have to give responsibility before the individual feels ready sometimes. And you have to know how much responsibility you can give before they feel ready. So am I going to give Jada the responsibility of managing all of my finances? No, that would be poor discernment. But can I give her the responsibility of managing her own savings account or her own business money or doing accounting for her allowance and the money she gets for chores? Yes, right? And it's going to challenge her. Baby, how much do you have in your account? Oh, Dad, I didn't think about how much is that going to cost? How much profit are you going to make when you sell your heavenly eggs? She makes deviled eggs, but we call them heavenly eggs. How much profit is that going to be? How much are you going to charge? If you charge 50, but the eggs, because eggs is high right now, if you charge 50 and eggs cost you 40, then you're only getting paid $10 for your labor. So I have to have the discernment to know how much to give her that I know she's ready for, but that she doesn't believe she's ready for. You seeing that? Okay. Matthew 17:19. Then came the disciples to Jesus apart. What? Key word, apart. What does that go back to? Yeshua creates sacred spaces just for the disciples. Okay? And said, why could not we cast them out? And Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief. For verily I said unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible to you. Howbeit this kind goeth out not but by prayer and fasting. So, do you see that Yeshua was putting them in situations because he could verbally say, oh, increase your faith. Your faith needs to increase. But instead of trying to communicate that verbally, what does he do? He puts them in situations where their faith falls short. They wonder why, and then they now come back to the master asking, why could we not do that? And now he's able to teach the lesson about increasing faith. Because if he just teaches faith from a verbal, cognitive, left brain standpoint, the message will not get through. They had to experience the reality that they did not have enough faith, desire to have more faith, then come to the master to ask how. So it's like giving your child the responsibility of something with the knowing that they're going to make a mistake, so that them actually making the mistake, seeing that they were not capable yet, they now come and ask how. So maybe it's cooking something. Your child wants to cook the Thanksgiving turkey. You do not want to waste money on a turkey, but you know that this is the lesson that they need to learn to understand that they must follow grandma's recipe. They think they can just watch some Instagram videos and make a turkey, right? So you let them fail in a safe way. Let them fail safely. You let them fail safely. Because once they fail, right, thinking that they could do it on their own, then where do they come back to? They now come back to you in what posture? Submitted. Okay? Matthew 18, 1 through 4. At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Again, this is a demonstration of Yeshua creating safe space for them to ask important questions that they've likely never been able to ask anyone else. But watch how Yeshua teaches, though. How does Yeshua teach? He does not always teach with words. Teach with props, scenarios, parables, metaphors. Why? Why? Because if I go from left brain to left brain, it will never enter into your heart. I have to bypass the conscious mind and go to the subconscious by using metaphor, parable, props, examples, so that you get the message on a deeper level. And when I don't give you a direct answer now, or I give you a parable, say I give a parable to a farmer, that parable of the sower doesn't just land consciously. Now, when the farmer is farming, the farmer is seeing the parable of the sower play out in his or her daily life. So they're continuing to learn even once the teacher is gone. So in the midst of them asking who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, rather than giving them a direct answer of here's the hierarchy, because that's what they wanted, Yeshua looks around, give me this child. And he set them in the midst of them and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. He used his real-time environment to make a demonstration. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually taking notes myself because I'm learning as we study together. This is a teaching style that you are all going to have to learn. Okay? Matthew 19, 9 through 10. And he said unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, commit adultery, and whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. His disciples say unto him, if the case of the man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry. Right? So, what is this demonstrating? He gives his disciples hard teachings. He gives hard teachings. Now, if we go look at all the church sermons today, 80% of them are going to be sugar-coated teachings. Oh yeah, just go get baptized and get saved, and he died for your sins and your all that. That's not what Yeshua was talking about. He is willing to give the hard teachings, and we know that Yeshua draws lines in the sand. Boundaries, parameters. You were very loose with this. You were loose with this. No, this is a hard line. Okay? Matthew 19, 13 through 14. Then were there brought unto him the little children, that they should put his hands on them and pray. And the disciples rebuked them. But Jesus says, suffer little children and forbid them not to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of heaven. So what is Jesus doing here, family? What is Jesus doing? Can anybody see it? Can anybody see it? He's teaching them what to allow in and what to reject. You've been rejecting the wrong things. You've been rejecting the people that are grabbing at my cloak. You've been rejecting the children, when these are the ones who we are called to serve. He is destroying their idea of purity, because they weren't supposed to be in community or near a woman with the issue of blood. So he is destroying. He probably intentionally walked through the group of children to have them rebuke children. And in that moment, he is correcting them. Why are we rebuking children? Why are you pushing away the people we are here to heal? So A good discipler turns your world upside down, turns your value system upside down, turns your priorities upside down, turns your world, priorities, and values upside down. So, if I'm discipling somebody in marriage and this person is well off and they have been buying their wife a whole bunch of gifts, that's all she has on her timeline is gifts, gifts, gifts. You know what I'm going to do? Here's how I disciple him. Go love your wife without spending a dime. Do that for 30 days and report back to me. I'm flipping your world upside down, but she likes gifts. Go give her gifts. What are the non-physical gifts you could give to your wife? It is a flip of the world in thinking. It is disrupting your temple. It is tearing. This is what Yeshua means by tearing down your temple. Your temple is where? Here. We have to tear it down because it was built on false programming. The bricks of your belief are weak. We need a stronger foundation. Okay? Yes. Somebody put, my lady put, checks you. Chickadee check yourself before you rickety wreck yourself. A good discipler is going to check you. Oh, you cheating on your wife? You're being checked by me. I'm holding you accountable. That is wrong. Okay? Yes, I love how Tosha put it. To make you have acceptance to the things you judged and denied access. I love that, Tosha. I'm going to write that down. Teaches you to accept the things you judged or denied access to. You know what I'm coming to realize? You know what my pastor is teaching me? My pastor is helping me understand, and I'm passing it. My pastor is giving me something that I'm passing to you. I'm starting to accept the struggles of life as a good thing. That they are part of the journey, not to tear me down, but to build me up. I used to push those things away. No, that's not how life should be. It should just be a bed of roses. No, roses also have thorns. It is a mixture of both. And the question is, can you preserve your peace and your joy, whether you get to smell the rose or you're being pricked by the thorn? Do these external conditions change who you are, Julian? You only want to take the good and leave the bad. That's not how it works. So one thing that I do now, family, I'm going to share this with you. I encourage you to examine it for yourself. When I eat an apple, I don't just eat the sweet parts of the apple. I also eat the sour core. Yes, I eat the sour core. Because that sweetness would not be there had it not been for the sour core. So why would I only take the good and throw out the bad? All of it was needed to create the parts that I enjoyed. Okay? That is a hard lesson, family. And in fact, we can only know sweetness when we have the opposite. How many of y'all like sweet and sour sauce? How many of y'all like sweet and sour sauce? I can't have it too sweet. Can't have it always sour. But sweet and sour, that's what life is. Okay? So, back to Matthew 19. As Tosha put it, teaches you, a discipler teaches you to accept the things you judge or denied access to. Okay? Matthew 19:21-25. And then Jesus said unto his disciples, verily I say unto you, the rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. Again, I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. When his disciples heard this, they were exceedingly amazed, saying, who can be saved? Yeshua shows you how hard the path is. There's no deception. See, when you tell people all they have to do is get baptized and confess that Jesus is Lord and Savior, there's deception there. And most people believe that when they get baptized, because nobody teaches them about the baptism by fire, when they get baptized, life is supposed to get easier. And then they become disillusioned because they think they're doing the right thing, but life just got harder. Yeshua was like, no, I'm going to tell you about the baptism by fire in advance of the baptism by water, so that when you come out the water, you are not surprised by the fire. So rather than you leaving disillusioned, I'm going to tell you the journey and forecast it in advance so you can make a choice now, because you might not want to get in that water. You might not want to get in that water if you knew what's on the other end of it. I'm going to help you make that choice now. Okay? Matthew 20:17-19. And Jesus, going up to Jerusalem, took the 12 disciples apart in the way and said unto them, behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man shall be betrayed. So, again, creating a sacred environment, a separate environment apart for the disciples. Okay? Matthew 21:1-2 and 6. And when they drew nigh to Jerusalem and were come to Bethphage and unto a Mount of Olives, then Jesus sent 2 disciples, saying unto them, go into the village over and against you, and straightway ye shall find an ass tied and a colt with her. Loose them and bring them unto me. And the disciples went and did as Jesus commanded. So, what does this teach us about being a disciple? What does this teach us? Trust my master. Just say yes. Just say yes to weird requests. As long as they aren't sexual and require any violence or harming other people, just say yes to the request. Yes, my love. She said, go without knowing why. How hard is that for you? If you really trust. Okay? How hard is that for you? All right? Yeah, Kimberly said this is challenging. That is challenging. But Kimberly, do you trust the creator of all? Who do you trust more than the creator of all? Who should we trust more than the creator of all? You want to know the sad part? We trust ourselves more than we trust the creator of all. We trust ourselves in this limited mind more than we trust the limited one mind of God. Okay? So, I want to give you an example of Matthew 21:1-2 and 6. How many of y'all remember Karate Kid? How many of y'all remember Karate Kid? Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. Right? Daniel thought he was going to learn martial arts. He thought he was going to learn to kick some butt. And Mr. Miyagi has him waxing a car. Master disciple in this vein of karate, right? But what was Mr. Miyagi actually teaching Daniel? Daniel didn't resist. And in fact, Mr. Miyagi made an agreement with him. I'll teach you karate. You just have to follow my instructions without asking why. Mr. Miyagi taught Daniel the wax on, wax off motion. Why? To build essential muscle memory for karate's defensive blocks. This is a block in karate. That's how you block in karate. And so when he's waxed, he doesn't realize that he's learning to unconsciously know how to do this. Secretly training his body through repetitive mundane chores like waxing cars, sanding floors, and painting fences, so that when actual attacks came, his body would instinctively block them without conscious thought. It wasn't just about chores. It was about developing focus, patience, and the ingrained movements of the kajite uke, which is the circular block, through consistent discipline practice. This is what Yeshua does. Putting them in scenarios that seem weird. Go get this horse from this man. Don't even ask him. Just tell him your father needs it. And to be a true disciple, you just say yes to the request without always knowing the why, trusting that your master is teaching you something. But you must be submitted. You must be submitted. Going back to Matthew 21:20. And when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, "How soon is the fig tree withered away?" Yeshua, again, demonstrating power. This particular administration doesn't like public demonstrations. Well, they do when their people ransack the government. But when other people do public demonstrations, it's restricted. But what was Yeshua? Yeshua was a public demonstrator. A public demonstrator. Okay? But again, you see him using the fig tree as an example around this idea of you must bear good fruit. And those things that do not bear good fruit will be cast into the pit. So Yeshua using his environment again in a moment to make a demonstration. Okay? Matthew 22, 15 through 16. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, saying, "Master, we know that thou art true." So the reason I put this here is because I want to show you that other people had disciples. Herodians had disciples. John had disciples. Jesus had disciples. So disciples could be of anybody who was considered a master at that time. Matthew 23, 1 through 3. Then spake Jesus to the multitude. Watch this. And to his disciples. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples. Wait a second. Saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. What is happening here? Yeshua is able to speak to multiple audiences at once. He's able to speak in a way that addresses the masses, but magically and powerfully, he's also able to speak to the disciples at the same time. When we went to this pastor's conference, one of the pastors there said, when I'm preaching, I have to be able to speak to the older Pentecostal woman who's 70 years old and just been in traditional church for all their life. I got to be able to speak to the young YN that's coming for the first time. And I got to be able to speak to the note taker who is intellectualizing everything and still stimulate them. I have to be able to speak to multiple audiences at the same time with one message cohesively. Speak to multiple audiences and levels at once. That is a elevated form of communication. It's going to be something that we all have to grow into. Okay? That's not something that you just turn on. That's something that is developed over time. But what allows you to do that? I said the C word earlier. What allows you to do that is you having a deep compassion and care and understanding for who's present. You could come with your cookie cutter story. You could come with your cookie cutter lesson. But when you recognize who's in the room, you realize, oh, I have to adapt this message to meet this person's needs right here, this person's needs back here, and this person's need over here. It is a degree of love that is required to, and Holy Spirit, to be able to adjust the message to meet the needs of everybody. Okay? Y'all with me? All right. Matthew 24, 1 through 3. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat unto the mountain of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us when these things shall be, and what they shall be a sign of thy coming and of the end of the world. So again, a safe space to ask questions, but what did he do? The disciples were astonished by the temples, right? Look how grand and great these temples are. What did Yeshua do? We talked about it earlier. This is just another demonstration of it. He reoriented what? What did he reorient? Their value system. Decembia said, tear down our old beliefs and mindset. He reoriented their thinking. They thought that that was what's amazing. That is all material and it will be torn down. The temple that we are building is the temple inside of us, not that temple. The temple inside of you is more amazing than that temple. I don't care how tall it is. I don't care how deep it is. The temple that is your body is greater than any physical temple, because every temple that is physical came where? It came from within man. Flipping the world, flipping the values, flipping what you prioritize. Okay? Matthew 26, 1 through 2. And it came to pass when Jesus had finished all these sayings, he said unto his disciples, ye know that after 2 days is the feast of the Passover, and the Son of Man is betrayed to be crucified. So again, making them aware of what is ahead. Okay? Making them aware of what is ahead and being honest about it and observing how they react. Matthew 26, 8 through 11. And when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, right? Not when Jesus just heard it, when Jesus understood it. What does understanding mean? He understands what they're saying behind what they're saying. So a true discipler has the skill of deep listening. Deep listening. Being able to hear the heart behind the words. Okay? So, when Jesus understood it, he said to them, "Why trouble ye the woman?" So back to what Tosha said, right? What we were teaching them to accept what they rejected or denied access to. Why are you mad at this? For she had wrought a good work upon me, for ye have will always have the poor with you, but me ye have not always. So reorienting their thoughts that this is waste to this is actually wealth. That this is a beautiful thing that she is doing. So right now I'm just going to pause. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is it to be a discipler? How hard is it to make a disciple? Based on what you're seeing and what we're learning. What is a disciple? How to be a great disciple and how to make disciples. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is it to make a disciple? I think it's on. I'm on 15, y'all. So I'm with Sabrina. 10,000. 10,000. Okay? This is not easy work, family. But it is the exact work that Yeshua called us to do in Matthew 28:19. And unfortunately, without knowing, most churches aren't doing it at this level. And so we are so happy to be new because meaning we don't have a foundation except this red text, Yeshua's words, and we get to build according to what the text says and not have to play the game. Well, we've been here for 50 years. We've been doing it this way for oh so long and get stuck in what? Traditions. Okay? Matthew 26:17 through 19. Now the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus saying to him, "Where wilt thou prepare?" And he said, "Go to the city such as," this is similar, go to the city to such a man and say unto him, the master saith, my time is at hand. I will keep the Passover at thy house. So again, this is just following the command. Even follow the command when you don't understand. Follow the command when you don't understand. Yet. You telling me you just want me to go to the city and just randomly I'll be led to a man with I'll be led to a man, not the cult. This is not the cult. He already did that one. You're telling me just go to the city and look for this guy, and that's what we're going to have. Just, you don't know his name. You don't have any cross streets. You just want me to go and tell somebody that your time is at hand? Crazy, right? Sounds crazy, right? This is what it means to be a great disciple. And this is also what it means to be a great discipler. Okay? Matthew 26:26. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples and said, "Take, eat, this is my body." So, family, can you disciple someone if you never break bread with them? Jesus was known for breaking bread with who? The sinners. If you've never broken bread with them, if they've never been to your house, I'm sorry, it is very unlikely that you are actually discipling them. With the exception of baseball coaches, soccer coaches, Girl Scout troop leaders, you might not bring the kids to your house, right? You might not bring the players to your house. You're discipling them in the environment of the school, the court, the field, the forest. So your environment for the discipleship is different. But I'm talking about when we're just regular people. If you have never had a meal with them, you likely haven't discipled them. And not just one meal, multiple meals. When I was guiding the young men through the before baptism process, we broke bread every time that they came over. We must break bread. And sometimes we would just eat. Sometimes we didn't do any work per se. We would just eat and talk. Because to truly disciple someone, you have to know them. You have to hear their story. You have to know where they're stuck, where they're blocked, what their vices are, what's challenging them, what are their dreams, what are their goals. Discipleship is not a one-way street of just teaching, teaching, teaching. No, it is a conversation. It is listening. Listening and loving. Listening and loving. And loving is listening. Loving is listening. Okay? I wish we were all in the same physical space. I wish that was the case. But God has spread us all out. And so we know that we're going to have to create small communities of you as we get larger and larger groups within each city. We know that we're going to have to create smaller community of you, and we'll have gatherings of all of us. But right now, this is where we're at, and we're spread across the country for a reason. Just like the people of African descent were spread across the world, just like the quote unquote Jewish people were spread across the world, the diaspora has happened for a reason. We've been planted and spread out for a reason. But now we have this technology that allows us to connect in consciousness, even if we haven't connected in the physical as of yet. Okay? Moving forward. Where am I? Oh, Matthew 26, 34 through 35. Peter said to him, though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. So we know that being a true disciple, when you are truly committed, you are willing to risk your life for your master. You're willing to lay it all on the line. Okay? That is not, I'm not saying take a bullet, but I'm talking about in terms of your degree. This is really symbolic of your degree of sacrifice for the larger mission. Okay? Matthew 26, 36, 40 and 45. Then come Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he came unto the disciples and findeth them asleep. Verse 45, and he cometh to the disciples and said unto them, sleep now and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of the sinners. What is Jesus talking? What can we learn about discipleship here? What can we learn about discipleship here? I'm going to say this. A great disciple holds space for his master. That's what Yeshua was asking. I'm a little weak right now. I need you as a collective to hold space for me. And while Whitney and I are leaders here, and we will all be going through the discipleship process together, there's sometimes where we need you to hold space for us. If you know the weight that we bear to hold up this church, we need you to hold space for us sometimes. And we receive beautiful text messages and emails where it's not just us pouring into you, but that you are also pouring into us. And we thank all of those who have sent those beautiful, beautiful messages. Sometimes in the morning, Whitney will wake up and share with me, oh, look what somebody just sent, this and that. We hold space. So it's not necessarily a reciprocal relationship, but it is a two-way relationship. Doesn't have to be reciprocal. A baseball coach or a basketball coach does not expect the players to give what he or she gave. But it is a two-way. They must give their best. If I'm giving you my time, my life, when I could be with my wife and my family, I expect you to at least give your best when you're out there. You may not be the best baseball player or basketball player, but give your best. So again, it's not always reciprocal, but it is two-way. This making sense? All right. Matthew 25:56. But all this was done that the scriptures and the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We are not supposed to leave Christ back when it gets hard. That is the moment of need. We are not supposed to abandon God when it gets hard. Yes, Nathan, that is when you lean in. You talk all this good game. Oh yeah, I'm about this life. I'm for Christ. And the moment it gets hard, you flee. There will come a moment in every relationship that you have where you have the choice of standing with someone who has been good to you or fleeing. And in that moment, you will truly know your degree of belief and faith in that person. And there will also be a moment in your life where those around you choose to stay or flee. And you will know who is who only at that time. Because most of our friendships, they're actually based on convenience. And the moment it becomes inconvenient, you start to see people dropping off. That's how you know who stays around, is how you know who is truly for you and who wasn't. Matthew 27:57 through 58. When the evening was come, there came a rich man of Arimathea named Joseph, who also himself was Jesus' disciples. He went to Pilate and begged for the body. So we say that disciples bury their masters, okay, in terms of the physical, but they carry on the legacy. So we didn't add that last week. They bury their masters, but carry the legacy or the ministry. They bury their masters, but carry the ministry. Okay? I also want you to know that it is possible to be a rich disciple. It is rare. It is very difficult to do, but Joseph was a rich disciple. Okay? Matthew 28:16. Then the 11 disciples went into Galilee. This is after Judas, into a mount where Jesus had appointed them. Okay? So we stick together. We stick together in the master's absence. Right now, we don't have a physical place to unite. And so here we come on Sundays to gather. But we stick together in hard times. Okay? I want to... Let me see. Man, I got so much more to teach. All right, let's keep it pushing. How y'all feeling? Y'all feeling good? Just doing a little heat check. How y'all feeling? Is this eye-opening for you? All right, good. Good. So I want to get through a couple more. So that we break this into 2/3, and next week we are able to finish as we go into our new disciple class. And so let's keep it pushing. In Mark, now we're switching into Mark. And so some of the stories may be similar, so we actually may go through it a little bit faster. And it came to pass that as Jesus sat at meat at his house, many publicans and sinners also sat together with Jesus and his disciples, for there were many, and they followed him. So we already mentioned this. We must break bread with those who we are discipling, and we take them on the journey. So the classroom is life. The classroom is not a classroom. The classroom is life. The classroom is not a classroom. The classroom is life. In other words, I allow you to shadow me so you can see my light. That's a bar. I allow you to shadow me so that you can see my light. Jesus, you said you are the light of the world, but you also said we are the light of the world. How do I know how to be the light of the world? Just follow me. That's literally what he said. Just follow me. Just follow me and you'll see how I interact with people. You'll see how I treat human beings. You'll see how I wake up early and go honor the Father. You'll naturally see it by observation if you just follow me. That's literally what he said over and over. Just follow me. I'm the way. Follow me. Follow this way. Okay? Just follow me. So it's not always a sit down environment. Okay? Life is the classroom. Mark 2:18. And the disciples of John and the Pharisees used to fast, and they came and said unto him, why do the disciples of John and the Pharisees fast, but thy disciples fast not? So we see other people had disciples, right? We see other people had disciples. And I think Yeshua was intentionally stepping into these confrontational situations so that his disciples could see how he handled it. So you're almost creating situations. Okay? You know, if I'm a coach of a young boys team, and there's some confrontation on the team, you know what I'm gonna do, family? When we're on the bus to the next game, I'm gonna make sure we leave about 30 minutes early. But then I'm gonna pretend like the bus broke down and that we have to push it to the gas station. But how do we get it to the gas station, family? How do we get it to the gas station? That's 2 blocks away. Whole football team. How do we get it to the gas station? The only way we get it to the gas station is if everybody gets out and everybody helps. Using the circumstance and environment to actually teach a lesson. Now, when we go to the game, because the bus wasn't really broken down, we weren't really out of gas. I might tell you and I might not tell you. But now we go to that game, and we go to that game as a team. We go as one. The division that existed between us no longer exists because we just overcame a challenge that we could only accomplish together. Whitney has this game. What's it called, babe? Preach the tool.
Oh, pick up and preach.
Yeah, there's this game. Actually, that's what we're gonna use to practice, y'all. It's called Pick Up and Preach. And so, babe, come share that real quick.
Yeah, I will.
It's called Pick Up and Preach because this is really relevant right now.
Yes, y'all. I have a game and I played it with, I had a girls' night and I had my girls over and we were playing church, right? And you actually pick up an item and then you have to preach about it, right? And so I had women picking up a fork talking about how God always feeds us, right? I had, we had so many different examples, but it's random things around the house and you got to pick up and preach about them. And the game becomes so fun because when I saw a fork, I'm like, what would they preach about that? And it's right. We're always fed by God. So it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And do that at all these events that you guys have throughout the holidays. Play that game.
Yeah. So you see, you're taking an element. You're literally just taking things from around the house, but you got to bring it back to God's word. You got to bring the lesson out of it, right? And Yeshua was a master at this. Okay. Mark 3:7. But Jesus withdrew himself with his disciples to the sea. Right. What are we again? Going aside, creating sacred space, intimate environments with just your disciples, right? That could be camping, it could be a road trip. Like these are examples. Matthew 4:34. But without a parable spake he not unto them, and when they were alone, he expounded all things to his disciples. So, one, teaching in parables, like pick up and preach, and then going into detail in the sacred space, in the exclusive environment for the disciples. So again, teaching at various levels. Okay. Mark 6:41. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and he blessed and brake the loaves and gave them to the disciples. So we discussed this already, empowering them, making them part of the miracle. Okay. Mark 7:5. And the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why not thy disciples, according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands? So Yeshua here is challenging the traditions of men in front of his disciples, right? Mark 7:17. And when he had entered into the house of the people, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. Again, a sacred, separate space to deepen the understanding of the disciples. You know what, family? This is going to sound crazy. I don't think the miracles were for the other people. All the miracles that Jesus did, they were nice. I don't think Jesus did them for the other people. You know who I think he did them for? You know who I think he did them for? I think he did them for 12 men called his disciples. Because if I can increase the faith of 12 men, then 2,000 plus years later, this message and ministry will still exist. I don't think the miracles were for other people. Some people were only there for the miracles. It was a magic show to a lot of people. But I really think that he did the miracles just for 12 men. You know, for those of you who are parents, you know how much energy goes into raising a child, right? What if the multifamily movement and the Christ-like church, what if I'm only doing that to show Jada and Liv what's possible when you are walking in your God-given purpose? Now, while all these people have been blessed by this ministry and by this movement, what if who it's truly for is for our seeds? And then guess what? They go on and do greater things than these. Just something to consider. Mark 8:1-4. In those days, the multitude was very great. Having nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples. So I think this is the feeding of the four. Yes, that's the feeding of the 4,000. And his disciples answered him, from whence can a man satisfy these men with bread here in the wilderness? And Yeshua tells them, you feed them. Now, do you think this was actual physical bread, family? If we go back to 5,000 divided by 12 is 416. What I think actually happened was Yeshua broke them into smaller groups. And now I can use my voice to speak to 416. I can use my voice to speak to 416. And I'm not giving them manna. I'm not giving them bread. I'm actually giving them truth. I'm giving them spiritual food. I'm nourishing them spiritually. So this is a degree of empowerment. Mark 8:6. And he commanded the people to sit down on the ground, and he gave to his disciples. So that's the same story. Mark 8:27. And Jesus went out and his disciples into the towns of, we already read that. By the way, he asked the disciples, saying to them, who do men say I am? Right? Trying to understand by asking them questions, right? What level of thinking they're at. So some repetition here. Mark 8:33, and when he had turned about, he looked on the disciples. He rebuked Peter, saying, get behind me, Satan, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but the things that be of men. Uh-oh. What's happening here, family? What's the lesson? What is the lesson? Of someone making disciples, what is the lesson? It's okay to do what? To call them out in small community. He's not going to say that to Peter in the midst of the public. But in this team, I can call that out here. Because you know that I love you. I can call it out because you know that I love you. Trying to hold somebody accountable and give them feedback when you have not demonstrated love first is very difficult. But because we have been experiencing love and been on this journey together, I can call you out because you know that I love you. Okay? Mark 8:34, and when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. So we already read that. Okay? Yes, correcting the situation in the moment. Correct the situation in the moment. And also realizing that the enemy can come through those that are close to us. He did not call Peter Satan, but he was aware that the presence of the adversary, which we studied, was present in Peter's doubt and Peter's rebuke of the will of God that Yeshua would have to suffer. So Peter was trying to say that, no, I won't let that happen to you. And Yeshua was like, no, this needs to happen to me. So he was also teaching not to be afraid or run from the will of God. Okay? Don't be afraid of or run from the will of God. All right. And when the disciples saw a great multitude and the scribes, and when he came to his disciples, he saw a great multitude about them and the scribes questioning with them, right? And so the disciples are doing what? They are now fielding questions. Empowered to field questions on their own. Which means they had to do what? How would they be able to field questions on their own? Meaning they had to study.
Yeah, not Yeshua, but their word.
They had to study and learn how to articulate for themselves. For themselves. We all digest in different ways. Okay? So when we talk about breaking bread, we're breaking down the truth in a way that is digestible for those that we are feeding. You might break your bread into triangles. I might break mine into rectangles, right? We break the bread, we break the truth in different ways. I may use props, you may use metaphors, you may use story. Okay? So you have to find the way that you break bread. Find the way you break bread. Or the truth down, or the truth down for others. So I just gave you some examples: props, parables, stories, allegory, right? How do you break down the truth? Okay? Mark 9:18, and wheresoever he taketh them, he teareth them, and he foameth and gnasheth with his teeth, and pineth away. And I spake to thy disciples, and they should cast him out, and they could not. So we talked about that one already. Mark 9:28, and when he was come to the house, his disciples asked him privately, why could we not cast him out? We already covered that, right? Creating sacred spaces for them to ask questions, safety, creating safe environments. Mark 9:31, for he taught his disciples and said unto them, the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of men, and they shall kill him, and after he is killed, he shall rise on the third day. All right? All right, we're almost there, family. I know this is a heavy study. The only reason we didn't break it into 4 is because we have our discipleship class next week. So I want to be able to end. I want to be able to end next week. Oh my goodness. So let me keep pushing. Okay. We read this one around. Oh no. And when he came nigh unto Jerusalem, unto Bethpage and Bethany, at the Mount of Olives, he sendeth forth 2 of his disciples. Yes, we read that already. This is the fig tree, Matthew 11:14, Mark 12:43. And he called unto him the disciples, saying unto them, verily I say unto you, that this poor widow has cast more in than all which have cast into the treasury. So again, life, the classroom is not a classroom. The classroom is life, right? So he's teaching about giving in abundance in a moment, right? So true discipler creates teaching moments. Our kids hate that. They know when a teaching moment is about to come. They know when a teaching moment, oh my goodness, oh, okay, we get it. No, you don't, because this wouldn't have happened if you got it. All right? So Mark 13:31, as he went out into the temple, one of his disciples said unto him, Master, see what manner of stones and what buildings. We covered that already. So we have some repetition here. The Feast of the Unleavened Bread, go to the city. We covered that. We covered this. So this is repetition between Mark and Matthew, okay? Yep. Okay, now let's get into Luke. Luke 6:1, and it came to pass on the second of the day after the Sabbath that he went through the cornfields, and his disciples plucked the ears of corn and did eat, rubbing them in their hands. And a certain of the Pharisees said unto them, why do ye that which is not lawful to do on the Sabbath days? So Yeshua is being a public demonstrator again, and he's challenging the Sabbath laws that the Pharisees have stuck to rigidly, and using this as a teaching moment to show that there is a greater law that transcends the man-made laws and traditions, right? Luke 6:13, and when it was day, he called unto him his disciples, and one of them he chose the 12, whom also he named apostles, Simon. And so this is him naming. So what does this say? This is him choosing his disciples. What does this say? As a discipler, you choose. You choose. They don't. So someone, let me see. Is that what this is saying? You choose. You see the potential in someone being ready to be discipled, not to be your disciple, but you see the potential. So you have to have the discernment to be able to judge their degree of readiness for the road of discipleship. And Yeshua could see that. He knew the hearts and minds of men and was able to choose these specific 12. Okay? So you choose with discernment based on alignment and readiness. There will be some people who are in your sphere of influence that you know are not ready to be a disciple yet. Okay? So you have to choose who you give your time and energy to in this process. And it's not to say that they won't ever get ready, but you can tell that they are not ready yet. Okay? This is the Sermon on the Mount, and he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, "Blessed be ye poor, for your sins, for yours is the kingdom of God." So this is Yeshua doing what? Sermon on the Mount. Bless your disciples. Speak life over them, and into them. Okay? Also, warn them. As you can see in verse 25 and verse 26, warn them as well. Okay? Most people don't realize that the Sermon on the Mount was to his disciples. They think it was just to a large crowd. No, it says he lifted up his eyes upon his disciples. All right? This is that continued. And this 6:20 through 35 is really the blueprint. This is a summary of Jesus's entire ministry. Verse 31, and as ye would that men should do unto you, do ye likewise unto them. For if you love them which love you, what thank ye have? For sinners also love those that love them. Right? So he's teaching on love, and he's giving a very challenging teaching that what? Flips over their understanding of love. They thought that it was just love those who love you, love your family, etc. He's flipping it over. He's challenging them to love their enemies. What good is it to love those who love you? How hard is that? That's easy to do. Even sinners do that. So he's again challenging them to a higher degree of love. Okay? This is them asking for more clarity on a parable. Then he called his 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority. This is empowerment over all devils and to cure diseases, right? So we are when you are discipling, you are empowering them to go do things that they thought were impossible, right? This is the multiplying of the loaves again. Okay. And yep, we already talked about that. I besought thy disciples to cast them out, and they couldn't. And he said, by prayer and fasting. And that's his warning again. Then okay, Luke 9:53. And they did not receive him because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. And when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command fire to come down from heaven and consume them, even as Elias did? But he turned and rebuked them and said, Ye know not what manner of spirit ye are of. For the Son of Man has not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. And they went to another village. What is happening here, family? What is happening here? This is control of anger and reorientation to the mission. Reorientation to the mission. Okay? constant reminder of why we are here. You think we're here to beat people up and that I'm this general as in a soldier. That's not what we're here for. And so there was reorientation to the mission. All right. Then last but not least, we're going to conclude here today. Luke 10:23 through 26. And he turned him to his disciples and said privately, blessed are those eyes which see the things that ye see. So again, private teachings beyond the public. Show me a penny. Whose image and superscription hath it? They answered and said, it's Caesar's. And he said unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things which are of God's. And they could not take hold of his words before the people, and they marveled at his answers and held their peace. So he did this in front of his disciples. We see constant demonstration, public demonstration in front of his disciples to teach them lessons. So again, life being the classroom. Life being the classroom, not the classroom in and of itself. So I would like to pause there as we are already at 1 o'clock. I know that was a lot to cover. And we're going to summarize it next week. We have a few more to go through in Luke and John in terms of really understanding what is a disciple. I will do my best to take out any duplication and skip over those so that we can get to the summary. As I've been praying and meditating on this, in fact, I was woken up at 3 a.m. this morning, and Whitney can attest to that, that I'm getting divine downloads on what it's actually going to take for us to become disciples. And I can't wait to share that with you. All right. So everybody take a deep breath. Thank the Most High for this text and these deep understandings that we are able to gain around what is a disciple, how to be a great disciple, and ultimately how we make more disciples. All right. And so with that, I'm going to bring back up Whitney, and she will close us out for today. All right. Beautiful.
Yay. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. That was so amazing. And yes, y'all, we have to give it back up to Julian because he does so much work for us. I know that y'all don't see it, but so much goes into him studying, him creating, him doing. So just thank you so much, babe, because y'all don't see it, but he goes so hard. And I just love to watch it as well, y'all. Get y'all a man of God, okay? Because I absolutely love to watch it. And then just like we talk about learning, he's inspired me so much. It's like when he studied, I'm like, hold on, let me go learn something too, okay? Like let me get in my words. So it's so beautiful to see, and then just the work that he puts in for this. This is a lot of studying. This is a lot of creating and things like that. So we just honor you, babe, for that. And then also, you guys, again, the new disciple class is next week after service. Okay, next week after service. I was answering in the chat. A lot of people were asking me like, oh, I've done all this stuff. Can I still come? Yes, we want you to come. We definitely want you to come. Go back and review last week and watch this week again, because these trainings are so rich, and we're really going to break down, because again, in the Christ-like church, we do not make members. We are on our way of making disciples, right? So definitely put that on your calendar to stay a little bit longer next week, okay? And again, we'll be going through this a little bit more as well, but the discipleship process, again, you want to make sure that you're coming to service. You want to tithe your time, right? Get the book. A lot of people were asking me in the chat, okay? Y'all get the book, the Red Text Blueprints. I saw a few people go to that site during this time, as well as you guys. And like he said, the disciple maker method, this is so beautiful. I cannot wait until this launches. And of course, our elective programs. Ladies, I want to see you in Sisters in the Scriptures. It's at 8:05 p.m. on Wednesdays. It is so fun. We have so much fun. Again, all of these other electives that you can be part of. I was typing in the chat the Proverbs 31 Day Women's Challenge. That is going to be such a beautiful experience. So ladies, let's show up to that. And then of course, all of our other electives, go to the christlikechurch.com/disciple. Okay. So now, of course, we are going to talk about giving. Our faith fund right now has $16,000 or $16,309.05, right? Again, if you are new here, we are a virtual church, and I talked about what we do earlier, but 91% of the money that comes in goes back to the community through community service, and that's health, housing, food, education, right? Only 9% is to the mission, and that's just the Zoom that we're on, the technology, and all of these things, right? And right now, me and Julian are just doing this because we love what we do as well, right? So you can go to the christlikechurch.com to give, okay? In James 1:27, it says, religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world, right? So when we have a responsibility, okay? We have a responsibility to take care of our community, right? So one way we define really being Christ-like, and that's what you're doing when you give, right? Take 100% responsibility for the human condition, even if you are blameless. Okay, even if you are blameless, right? You have to go out and do this work. In other words, choose a cause, right? And even if you didn't cause it, okay? So we did Heat the Homeless last Sunday here in Atlanta. You guys, this is going to be, we have such a heart for our homeless homies, right? This is going to be an ongoing campaign, okay? So even when we were out there, even when I got done, I was seeing messages and funds come in of people like, hey, this is for next time. This is for next time, right? So this is an initiative that we're doing. Julian made the decision. We were out on Sunday. He was like, we need more bags. We actually went back out on Thursday, me and him. And what I love about when we went back out, you guys, a lot of people in this situation, their spirits, their heart, their love, their helpfulness for each other was so beautiful to see. And then what else I loved about going out this week is every single person that I asked to pray with was ready to receive prayer, add value, share their story and things like that. So I had so many beautiful connections, you guys. So the heatthehomeless.com is where you can donate to that. And that's what we've been using the Faith Fund for as of lately, right? Here's some photos of us going out and doing the work, you guys. This is the work, okay? And then I'm telling you, just like when we talk about how Julian said over and over how life is the teacher, right? Life is the teacher. In these moments when we're out here, and you can ask Julian, I learned so much about myself in these moments and what I'm capable of. I used to be like, I don't want to pray with people. I don't know if I'm doing it right. All of these things, right? And now I just, like I said, everybody wanted to pray. It was such a beautiful experience. So you learn so much about yourself when you do service in the community. Again, service that you might not be part of or cause, right? And then also how else we use our fund is by our God grants, right? So with this, these are, you can go to the christlikechurch.com and fill out God grants. This is for one-time emergencies, right? You might, your power bill's not off, but it's due, right? Or you need a little bit more for groceries or gas or things like that, right? And this is for our community members that are active with technology. We see who gives, we see who shows up and things like that. And these are those who have given get priority, right? So you might have been giving, and you just fell on a gap, and we're here to help you, right? So some examples are if you're hungry or you have no food, partial rent payments, your utilities are close to getting cut off, the car's broke down, you might need a tire or a brake or a tail light, right? If you have a job but there's no savings, if you are going through any type of domestic abuse, and ladies, you can hit me up personally for that if that's you, or any any male that's going through that, medication and childcare. So this is how we love to help. Okay, so definitely one thing that we value here at the Christ-like Church, you might not be able to give $1,000 today, right? But if it's $1 and you show up every week sharing $1, $5, 10, 20, 30, 500, whatever it is, we love and value participation here at the Christ-like Church. Okay. So again, if you're falling on a hard time right now, the christlikechurch.com/God grants. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share this beautiful song and just open this up there just for a moment to give you guys. There's 3 ways to give right now: PayPal, Venmo, or you can go to the christlikechurch.com and give and use your debit card. Okay. You can do it like that. And then I will go ahead and play this beautiful song written by Julian.
I give thanks. Oh, I give thanks for the breath in my lungs. I give thanks for everything you've done, for the past and present and for what's to come. I'm grateful to be among your chosen ones. I give thanks that my eyes can see, that my ears can hear, and my 2 good feet, that my hands can touch, and my heart still beats. I'm grateful to be in your body. I'm so grateful, I'm in amazement. I'm grateful for your greatness. I'm grateful you're so gracious. I'm so grateful, I can't stop praising. Give thanks for what you gave me, and I will never waste it. I give thanks for the breath in my lungs. I give thanks for everything you.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone who is giving. We appreciate that. And it's so beautiful, you guys, when we do things like this, when we do give out these bags and these sleeping bags, right? And these coats, right? And these socks. Know that you are a part of that. Okay, you are a part of that. When we go and we give and we pray, you are a part of that. So we're just so grateful when you give, when we help somebody, right? When we help somebody, when we turn back on lights, when we help people with cars, right? You are part of that. So just know that when you are giving. Okay. And so then next, so thank you everyone. And then next, let's go into the Christ-like charge. Now, I was just sharing with Juliet. I was like, man, babe, I was taking notes after notes after notes after notes after notes, right? With today, so I like to give a Christ-like charge before we go, but I do want to touch on something really quickly, and I said it last week as well, but we kept saying that how Yeshua was always creating examples, right? Creating examples out in the world and things like that. And also, and through those examples, the disciples, like they were learning, right? So like I said last week, one thing that I always ask God, if I want to work on something, I ask God to put me in that life experience so I'm able to learn it or know it or whatever, right? So if you're working on compassion, ask God to put you in a state where you have to be compassionate only. Like that's the only thing that's available. If you're working on loving better or loving a family member or a friend, ask God to put you in alignment with a friend who needs some love, right? This is how I like to ask God to help me learn life, right? And I believe Yeshua, through the examples that we are learning about today, like this is how he taught life and learned life. Like this is how he taught life. This is the way, right? And so I just had that in my notes, right? Life is a teacher, so follow that way. That intuition that you have, that internal GPS, right? Follow that because it has something to be taught in your life, right? Wherever you're going. So definitely do that. Right now, let's do a Christ-like charge. Drop in the chat one way that you're going to go out in the world this week and be like Christ. Go ahead and drop in the chat. How are you going to carry out and be like Christ this week? And then as well as you type, go ahead and I'll read some of them off too. But maybe if you're like, I don't know what to do, someone is going to tell you exactly how they're going to do and adopt that. Okay, so drop in the chat. How can you go out and be Christ-like? Pray for my enemies. Yes, that's beautiful. When you start praying for your enemies, you have reached a different type of love. Okay, that's a different type of love, and so that's so beautiful. Love everyone. Yes, Shelton, I love everybody. Okay, I love strangers. I love when I can share love. I'm definitely doing it. Serving meals. Yes, you guys. One thing that I do if I have some food and it's time, we have extra leftovers or I make too much, right? I always pack up a plate. You don't have to feed the whole community. You might just have a couple plates that you can go out and make and give. Okay, giving my time. Yes, time is the most. It's the richest commodity. So giving your time to someone, praying for everyone. Yes, loving those who mistreated me. Yes, Dr. Regina. Yes, that is a different form of love. So you guys, this is how you can go out and be like Christ. Because again, you guys, we are not members, we are disciples. So we're always being the example. If that's anything that we've been learning, we know that Christ was the example, right? So go out and be the example, you guys. This has been a beautiful Sunday. I've just had such a great time. Again, I have notes on top of notes. I'm so excited for next week, you guys. This disciple training is going to be so beautiful. So again, go recap, go watch last week, go replay this week and be tentative. Bring a friend next week as well, okay? So I love you guys. This was beautiful. We know that for whoever shall do, you guys do. If you're writing this down, underline it, circle it, put 2 stars beside it, okay? For whoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother, sister, and mother, okay? So with that, you guys, we are going to finish here. This was such a beautiful study. I do want to add this to here. If you need prayer, right? If you need prayer and you need you're asking for prayer, or you need a request, or you want me and Julian to cover you, definitely email just 3 words. Okay, you don't have to share everything of what's going on. You don't have to replay it in your mind. You don't have to speak it out loud again, but just share 3 words that we can pray for you for, and we will definitely be cheering for you, rooting for you, and praying for you. You can email us at contact@thechristlikechurch.com. Send your prayers to contact@thechristlikechurch.com, and we will cover you in prayer. So I love you guys. Have an amazing week. I'll see my ladies on Wednesday, and I'll see everyone else next Sunday. Peace, y'all. Thank you.
God that made the world and all things therein, sing that he is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worship with men's hands, as though he needed anything,
seeing he gave to all life
and breath in all things,
and all things,
and have made of one blood all nations of men, for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed, and the bounds of their habitation,
that they should seek the Lord, if haply they might feel after him,
and find him,
though he
For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring.
I am the church where 2 or more are gathered.
God is at work.
God is at work.
Oh,
I am the church.
Monday through Sunday.
I'm here to serve. I am.
Oh,
I am the church.
where I walk is holy ground.
We're a body of believers.
Welcome to my Father's house.
Christ said, I am the door. Come and take a tour.
There's plenty room for more. Just don't ignore your church, 'cause I
am the church.
Yeah,
Where 2 or more are gathered.
God is at work.
God is at work. I am the church.
Monday through Sunday.
I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
Chapter 17, verse 21.
Inside of Luke.
Christ said the kingdom of God.
Inside of you.
You're so heavenly that God chose
To abide in you.
Now the world can see God's light
Inside of you.
inside of you.
Oh,
Church is not a place.
yeah,
It's me and you holding space.
yeah,
The church is not a building. It's me and you both healing.